So you might have seen the story just blow up online in late 2025. It was all about Erica Kirk, who had just become the new head of Turning Point USA after the tragic assassination of her husband, activist Charlie Kirk. And the central claim was wild, that she was permanently banned from Romania for child trafficking. I mean, it's a shocking allegation, right? So today, we're going to break down exactly where this story came from and what the evidence actually says.
Right, so let's get straight into it. And it all happened just weeks after her husband's death. Okay, so let's really unravel this. We're going to start with the charity that's at the very center of all these claims. Then, we'll compare the rumors to the official records. And finally, we'll ask the really crucial question, why? Why did this totally unsubstantiated story get so much traction?
Let me tell you what's a little unnerving or unsettling. I don't have this problem because I'm not wealthy.
He's saying we always pay when we go out with them. Why do you always pay?
The uber rich, when I say uber rich, I mean like can give away millions of dollars and it not affect them. The uber rich, when they get tense or weirded out or skittish,
Ask them. All of BP's friends are rich. So that's the essence of your friendship? Money? What can I say? If this comes out, I'm dead.
this is what I thought. I'm saying, okay, this woman's being interrogated by police. Who gives a shit? And then the bombshell of all bombshells gets dropped because you find out who she is, what she's done, and what she's worth.
Yeah, that's Miri Matelson. Miri Matelson donated $100 million to the Trump campaign in this election. She is one of the most powerful Jewish political...
Just using my deductive reasoning and that divinely placed conscience that the Lord put in all of us, hearing someone say that, of that much influential power, who had $100 million to give away, okay? If she said something like, if Bibi Netanyahu heard me say this, I would be no longer, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, I think that's a pretty goddamn good cause for concern if she's telling that to a fucking cop.
Action in the first place. So all of this, it all comes back to a single charity. And to really understand the rumors, you first have to understand what this charity's mission was supposed to be. You know, before she was in this huge public role at Turning Point USA, Erica Kirk ran a nonprofit, and that nonprofit had a program called Romanian Angels. On paper, its mission was pretty straightforward, organizing support and activities for kids in the Romanian city of Constanta, with a Christmas wish list project being one of its most well-known initiatives. But the story that was being told online, well, it painted a completely different picture. The claims were incredibly serious, that Romanian Angels was just a front for child trafficking, pipelining kids to all sorts of places. The story always ended the same way. The charity got kicked out of the country way back in 2011, and because of that, Erica Kirk herself was now permanently banned. Okay, so you have these massive allegations flying around online, but what happens when you actually put them up against official records and what fact-checkers found? Let's take a look. And right here, this is the core of the whole thing. On one side, you've got the rumor, a ban from a country because of serious criminal activity. On the other side, the official record. Fact-checkers from multiple organizations finding absolutely zero evidence to back up that claim. And when you look at how the claims fall apart, it's pretty systematic. Fact-checkers from places like Reuters and Lead Stories, they really dug in. They searched Romanian court records and found nothing. Not a single mention of Erica Kirk or her charity in any criminal investigation. They looked for official statements from any government, Romanian or US. Again, nothing. In fact, they found that she'd actually traveled to Romania for her charity work multiple times without any problems. And maybe the biggest tell, one of the main sources being passed around online was an article from 2001. Now think about that. That's a time when Erica Kirk was just 13 years old. A fact check from Grok really summed it up perfectly, saying, quote, "There's no confirmed evidence that Erica Kirk is banned from Romania." It goes on to say that the social media claims lack official support. So if all the evidence says these claims are baseless, you have to ask yourself, why? Why did this story go so viral? Well, the answer isn't really in the facts of the case, but in the tragic timing and the context around it. You really have to look at the timeline, because the timing here is everything. On September 10th, you have this absolutely shocking event. Charlie Kirk is assassinated. In the immediate aftermath, his widow, Erica, is suddenly thrust into this massive public role as the new CEO. And it's right then, in that perfect storm of grief and public scrutiny, that these decade-old, unverified rumors suddenly catch fire and spread everywhere. And, she steps into this role. And in her first public statements, she's vowing to continue her husband's legacy. with comments just like this one. She instantly became a figure of national interest, trying to navigate this immense personal tragedy while taking over a major political organization. Suddenly, every single part of her past was under this intense microscope.
Okay, but this still leaves one big question on the table. Even with zero evidence, why did this rumor just feel so plausible to so many people that it spread like wildfire? What was it? Well, a big part of the answer has to do with the setting itself, Romania. Look, Romania, and this is just a fact, has a well-documented and very serious problem with human trafficking. The US State Department even classifies it as a Tier 2 country, which means it's not quite meeting the minimum standards to eliminate trafficking, even though it's making significant efforts. And we are not talking about some abstract problem here. It is tragically, horrifically real. Just between 2016 and 2019, authorities in Romania officially identified this many victims, 2,613. That's not just a statistic, it's a number that reflects a deep, ongoing crisis that is very much in the public consciousness.
So that is the fertile ground we're talking about, where this rumor was able to take root. This specific claim about Erica Kirk was baseless, but it tapped into a very real tragic crisis, and it combined with some pre-existing public concerns about the oversight of some international ministries. The rumor itself wasn't true, but it felt plausible because it was set against the backdrop of legitimate, real-world anxiety.
And that brings us to what I think is the bigger picture here. This whole episode is just a perfect, if unfortunate, case study in how modern misinformation really works.
It's like there's a playbook for this kind of thing, and you can see every step. First, you get a tragedy, a huge emotional event that captures everyone's attention. Then comes the scrutiny, where everyone involved is put under a microscope. And then what happens? People start digging up old, unverified, sometimes totally debunked claims from the darkest corners of the internet. And finally, before fact-checkers can even catch their breath, social media algorithms do the rest, amplifying the rumor around the globe in a matter of hours.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? The Erica Kirk Romania story is, more than anything, a cautionary tale. It shows what happens when personal grief and public politics collide in an environment that's just fueled by the incredible speed and power of digital speculation.